All right, Shia, let's do it. Here we go. Do it! A little late. Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams... Just do it! Some people dream success. Well, you're gonna wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not gonna stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it! Yes, you can! Just do it! If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. Ah, yeah. Well, I'm glad you could stay tuned for the motivation before doing that. Now you'll be dreaming of Shia LaBeouf. I appreciate you stopping in. Again. Good morning, everybody. We're going to be chopping out today. Just having some fun. Getting the hands going. No drum stream yesterday. I woke up late and I was like, I need to get my workout in before I do my Fortnite stream. Okay, so we're going to do chug. So all the chug variations can be found, under this. Or if you click on this one, it just shows you every single one of the things that's on there. But we got a bunch of play-alongs. Neatly organized. Whoops. Go up. Up here. Link at the top of the screen. But the thing that we're going to be doing is this one. Now, I'm going to skip the chug framework for right now. I'll try and remember to come back to that at the very end. But we'll just play normal chug. We'll use this as our warm-up. And then we're going to stretch and massage. And then we'll just keep playing some more chug and more chug and more chug. We'll start off at 120. Let's see if that's too fast. Gotta turn the volume up. Here we go. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'll try and remember to take a look at that. I'll look at the subreddit later on today. Try and look for it. If you want, I could even take a look on it on the stream. If you give me permission to take a look at that, and I can give you some tips in the stream. Yeety, welcome back. How you been? I released a video yesterday with your joke of calling that the G-Wagon the GG Wagon in Fortnite. It's a funny one. Let's play 5 more times, and then we'll stretch and massage. I don't feel like this was enough of a warm-up, in my opinion. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll take a look at it. Couple more reps. Can't speak. Your memory's off? Yeah. Well, hear you on that one. That happens to me whenever I'm like super tired. My memory just gets rough. Let's do this. So we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna go there. Da 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 da. Let me see. I'm gonna mute that real quick. Okay. I think this is you. It looks like it's Flamus, just based off of what it looks like on mute. Da, 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 da. Where'd it go? It disappeared. Where are you? Okay. Hello, Luis. Good morning. So here's, in case anyone's just for permission and all that, I do have permission to provide some feedback on here. Let's take a look at it though. Let me move that back, put this here, make this fuller screen, and rewind it. All right, let's take a listen. Morning, Nathan. Sweet. Whoops. Okay, so let's talk about it. Can I... So I was wondering if I could like slow it down or anything on here, but I cannot. Okay, so let's mute it. There we go. And first of all, nice. I appreciate you playing a classic. Okay, so this exercise. When playing through this, looking at your technique, there's a couple things that I noticed with this. So, first of all, these are my opinions on technique in general, but it might differ from what your instructor encourages you to play or other people encourage you to play. So take that with a grain of salt. So this is just based off of my own experience and whatnot, and it may completely differ from what you're told to play. Go with that, whatever it is. So the one of the things that I'm noticing is there's a lot of tension in the hands, whether it's with the right hand on the fulcrum or the left hand. The pinky in particular seems to be really hugged into the stick. Another thing that I'm noticing, if we go back here, if we pause this, is the stick right now has it so that when you're holding this, you are cupping the water, which is a way that you can describe the technique. So the way that you're holding onto your stick is if I were to pour water into your hands, it would stay there. And with traditional grip, you don't want that. And the reason why you don't want that is because you want this to rotate back. And so you're already at almost peak rotation. So the maximum height you're going to be able to get is like here. So what you need to be able to do is hold it so that when you're holding your stick, instead of holding your stick so that it's flat, so that water would fall out of it, you want to be able to pour water into it and hold it so that the water just immediately falls out of your hand. So with traditional grip, you want to have it so that your thumb is in alignment with the rest of your forearm. Another way that you might be taught how to do this is that your wrist is in alignment with the rest of your forearm. But either way, it is not going to be turned like this so that the water would stay inside of your hand and you'd hold on to it like this. So when you're holding traditional grip, you want to make sure that you are aligning there and then making it so that you can get that full rotation out of here rather than already started with your sticks rotated back. This is immediately going to assist with your heights, with your left hand accent taps, etc., being able to get like a nice full rotation out of there, compared to if you're starting here, you're also going to get a bit of a slice. So if we take a look at it like this, if my hand is here and we're playing with it so that the water is being held, look at the slice that is on here, with that, as compared to if I go like this and I rotate, I can actually get it so that the stick rotates up and down and will go guide with the stick, rather than go like this, where it's like coming out like this. So you're getting that slice. That's going to make it so that you have a thinner sound quality if you play that way with traditional. Now, so we'll just stick with the left hand for a moment. And again, so I always like demonstrate match grip in my streams, but I march snare with traditional. So I do have several years experience doing that. So for the next thing that I recommend is, right now you're making it so that you have the closed gap right here in your fingers. That's fine. Like, there's no issue with that. However, if you give yourself a little bit of breathing space so that your stick actually vibrates, like if I'm holding onto it like this versus if I'm holding onto it like this, I can actually feel the stick vibrate, and it makes a little bit of a hum sound. And that is actually a good thing. So you want to have a little bit of space in there, so the fingers don't necessarily need to be squeezing into here to close off that gap. It just needs to be relaxed enough that it provides support, and so you're not like squeezing it and choking off a sound, which will make it so that you actually don't get a fuller sound out of the drum. Now, the right hand, a similar thing with the fulcrum. There are many ways that you can use your fulcrum. You could use the front two-finger fulcrum with like a finger approach. You could use a triangle fulcrum. You could even use the finger fulcrum with like a rotary motion, like on timpani. Like, there's many different ways that you can approach the fulcrum. The way that I personally prefer to do it is to relax the index and the thumb and make it so that you can play with a nice relaxed floppy wrist. If you are squeezing with the index and the thumb, you cannot bend your wrist. So it makes it so that you're forced to use all finger technique, which, if that's the technique you're going for, great. But for myself, I like to have a little bit more power because it's rudimental. So I am okay with my wrist being the primary driver of this, primary, not the only. And a little bit of forearm in there to get a little bit extra power. You can still use finger for like faster speeds. Like later on, you're going to see me using finger, like especially on like the fast paradiddle versions of chug and whatnot. But for me, what I'd recommend is holding your fulcrum so that you've got two fingers and the thumb kind of like in between it. And so it gives it a little bit of like a gap here. So like your finger kind of just hangs out right here. And you can actually practice this by removing your index finger and just like playing with the index finger off the stick. And then eventually just gently wrap it around there. And that's how you can get used to that approach. Now, another thing that I'm noticing with the technique on here is you're playing with more of a Germanic approach, so that you have a flat wrist right here, as opposed to like the French approach where you have thumb up and perpendicular to the floor. What I would recommend is going with the more American approach, which is kind of in between the two. So if we have German here, it's flat. So French is here is like thumb straight up. And then to the side of that, like in between the two, is an American approach where we have like a slight slope with this. And this will also help with being able to get, relax the hands a little bit more and get a little bit more power out of it, as opposed to playing with this completely flat approach with what I'm seeing right here. That's just with the grip, etc. So let me provide you some more thoughts on this. So the other day you asked about some flam accents. So the flam accents, the grace notes are still raising up a little bit on there. So that's okay. You'll just want to slowly start to lower those. So wherever your starting position is, the grace note for rudimental percussion almost always will just go from rest position into the head, as opposed to lifting up. So you're not going to want to have flam accents like that. So what I recommend doing is slowing this down and really focusing on that technique so that you can get the hands nice and low for those taps and make it so the grace notes do not raise at all when you are working on this. But let's actually turn the sound on. So the flam taps are actually rushing. So the first phrase we have, it's kind of going like that. So that's an exaggerated version of what you're doing. So the second note of the flam tap is actually coming in too early. The way that particular exercise is written out, if I remember correctly, from the Fresh Perspectives book by Murray Gussick, and I think Casella also wrote some stuff in there. But the way it's written out is there's actually accents on the second note, as opposed to just an accent on the first note. So really try and bring that note up and make it so that it's slightly later than it currently is. So right now the second note's coming in too early. So I'd actually slow this thing down. Maybe even slower this. And really just make sure that that second note is not rushed in there. And that'll help out with the phrasings of that. Etc. Now let's talk about the flam drag second half of that. Yeah, so the flam accent or the flam drag part, whenever you're doing that, make sure that those diddles are a little bit more open than they currently are. So I think I talked about that with you in another stream about how I work on the diddles, but really just focus on slowing those down and making those accents nice and full for the flam taps, big, but relax. So don't like squeeze it in there, etc. What is it? I think it may be on page 2. I haven't seen the music for this in a long time. Really focus on getting even heights on those back-to-backs. I forget if those are patty fla-flas or foo bars, but you know what I'm talking about because you know the exercise. So focus on getting same height for that without raising up that grace note. And that last part, the 5-stroke into the paradiddle diddle, lower those taps even more than they are. Right now, so the distinction between the accents and taps are vague. They're not as pronounced as they could be, so really lower those. Let's see. So that's kind of talking about left hand, the right hand, just some general tips with the flams, the grace notes, flam drags. Let's give it one more listen, but this is just kind of my first impressions of it. But again, you're doing a lot of good things, but because you asked me to provide some feedback for you, I'm hoping this is helpful for your own playing, working on it. Yeah, okay, so another thing that I recommend is probably about 80% of your time should be spent practicing this particular exercise slower than you're doing right here, and maybe, I don't know, 10% of the time around performance tempo, and then maybe 5 to 10%-ish playing faster than you should. So the majority of your time should be like at least half of that speed that you're currently playing at. So that way you can really refine, like keeping those grace notes down, keeping those diddles with the correct interpretation and not like crushing them, and making sure that your accents are even with like both of the back-to-back flams, keeping the diddles roll, the diddles low, I can't speak, and then just really relaxing your hands. Another thing that I noticed here with your thumb is you have a little bit of like, let me see if I can show this to you. So the thumb is a little bit turned in like this. It's got what some people call like a hitchhiker's thumb. And I don't know if that's an inappropriate term, so apologies if it is. But you want to make sure that you're not putting a ton of pressure on here and that you're getting too much of a curve by pulling it too close in. Just relax your thumb and let it just like hang naturally. Just kind of like rest there, as opposed to like squeezing it in too much and putting too much tension on here. So again, I think you're trying to have too much of a closed grip for my particular taste with technique, which focuses on just playing nice and relaxed and whatnot. But yeah, I hope this helps. So I know you're going to sleep. So what I'll actually do is I will link to this in the Reddit post, and then I'll include the timestamp so you can see my feedback here. So that way you can just like come back to this to get some tips and whatnot. But hopefully that in some way was helpful for you. But again, thank you for giving me permission to take a look at that. It was an interesting idea. I could definitely do that in future streams. So if you want to stop by and ask more questions and like share a video, as long as you give me permission to provide some feedback, then I'm happy to do so. I don't want to provide critique to people who aren't asking for it because sometimes that just comes across as elitist, in my opinion, and very rude the way that some people do that. But anyways, I hope that helped. Let's stretch and massage now. Now that we kind of warmed up a little bit. 3 rides broke down. Yikes. That sounds like an eventful day. It's weird how like it kind of can stack like that, where all of a sudden just like a bunch of weird stuff happens all at once. What was the exercise you mentioned earlier about keeping the index finger off the stick? Any exercise, Nathan. So you can play anything. You can there's like accent taps, whatever you want to do. Double beat, like any of the accent tap variations and whatnot. Just pull the finger off the stick, and that'll just help you to feel the weight of the stick in your hand while staying relaxed. Another thing you can even do is like get rid of the first 2 fingers entirely. You can do it that way. You're very welcome. Again, I hope it's helpful in some way, but just keep at it. Know that it takes an extensive amount of time to get good at something when it comes to the drums, and you're already like well on the path. You got hands, you got chops, you're doing good. So keep it up, but just like continue to refine. Pick one thing each day that you're going to work on, and hopefully that gives you enough stuff to like work on for like the next month or 2. Don't expect to like all of a sudden have all that improved by the end of the day or the next week, etc. Anyways, you're very welcome, Nathan. Okay, so now I'm going to stretch the underside. Oh, if you do traditional, rotate, hold there. Ooh, that feels great, actually. And then rotate and hold there. So you want to just kind of relax both ends of the extreme. Stretch it out a little bit. Let's do the wall stretch. So the lower you go, the deeper your stretch. Trying to get the underside of the forearms down here. I'm glad I was able to actually respond to that on stream as opposed to like responding via text, because that would have taken a lot. Just write out like another dissertation. One is enough for me. We're now going to stretch the top side of the forearm. The higher you go, the deeper the stretch. Is German grip bad? No. So it's just a different way of playing. There are many ways to play, and it serves different purposes. But for myself, I get more speed and power using the American slope as opposed to the flat. It will slow you down, in my opinion, in the long run. It's harder to use finger, and it's harder to get power if you're using German grip. Instructor likes the way a wide stance looks. Most comfortable? Well, so you can still have the wide stance, but it's just like you can even do a French wide stance like this. You don't have to have it flat. So like we were taught that we should be able to have like a little box here because we played flat as much as I wanted to play on the tilt. We had flat and our arm was out quite a bit, but you can still change the angle of your wrist, even having your arm completely out. So it doesn't change anything about this particular angle and the stance like that. But it will, in my opinion, slow you down and make it so it doesn't make as much power out of it as being able to do the American grip. I don't know what that sound was. Let's stretch the fingers. You're going to eat real quick. You do that. Take care of your health. Food is important. Ooh. ASMR. Stretching stream. Oh, camera angle slightly off. You can see it right here if you're on YouTube. A little behind the scenes. And Alice massage. Yeah. So every single technique that you use is going to have an affordance and a constraint. So as an example, with French grip, you can play faster with finger technique than you can with like a German grip. However, you don't get to play as much power as the other grips. So with German, for me, it's not as fast as like being able to combine a little bit of finger in there with like the American grip. So they all have their trade-offs. They're great at some things and worse at other things. But again, like it just depends on the line that you're playing on. Everyone should match each other so you can get the same kind of sound quality. But if you're playing on like drum set or something like marimba, you can change your grip just to get different sound qualities out of it. And like you can play one way and then switch over to another and then switch over to another, however you want. You can play Julie Spencer technique where you flip your wrist like this. Like it doesn't matter. But when it's drumline, you gotta line up. A year and a half into playing, better than I was. Significantly better. I probably couldn't play at that speed until year 3. Yeah, that's probably a good estimate. So yeah, it's good. I provided a lot of information there, and I don't mean that as like, hey, you're doing bad. It's just I wanted to give you enough stuff that you could work on for a while. But no critique of your abilities, especially for a year and a half. Yeah, that's great. And I'm the kind of person who... So back when I used to teach elementary band, I had a student come up to me and be like, why don't you ever tell us that we sound good? And I'm like, because you don't. But if you continue to practice months from now, a year or two from now, you will. I'm not going to give you a false praise and be like, yeah, that sounded great, like a dying gazelle. Cool. Good job, class. Like, so, yes, you're doing really good for that amount of time playing, but there's always more things to work on and whatnot. I have sometimes a bad tendency of just focusing on those things to work on without giving the praise. So apologies if it came across as just critique, because I know I just did that for a few minutes in a row. But yeah, that's great. You're very welcome. Just being genuinely honest with it. If I thought your amount of progress was bad, I would tell you for that amount of time. I have had some students where I'm like, it's clear you're not practicing. If you want to be the best, which is what you say, you're going to have to like tenfold the amount of practice you're doing, kind of a thing. So... had to have those conversations sometimes, and they were uncomfortable, but that's just the reality of things. But for you, yeah, you're doing good. Keep it up. I know some people have played for several years who could not play Flammes at that speed. Anyways, let's actually get back into some chug. So, this was the normal chug. That's what it looks like. But we're now going to go back to the playlist, and we're now going to play the next one. So this one is actually with flam taps. This could potentially be a great one for you to work on, since we were talking about Flammes. So it's very similar, where you can work on that second... Woo! Gravity. It still works. Where you can work on that second note of that flam tap to make sure you don't rush it. Let's go to the timestamps and jump to 120. Full screen. Ew. My left, like, cramped. Yeah. So I can't make a play along to Flammes, non-dragoness for those who don't know that full exercise. But this is a good variation that you could do that kind of like helps you out with that. There's also, I think there's a flam drag and flam taps version. Maybe not. well, you can put it here, I guess, if you wanted to, on the framework. Anyways, so that's basically like chug. You're just adding a little extra one. So now there's flam, accents, and rolls. So this one is a good one. Sure, we'll try it at 130. Let's go. Note, there is no grace note after the diddles. However, there's also that same thing with tag. So if we go to... Where's it at? It's hiding. What? Oh, okay, here it is. I couldn't see it. So it's the same exercise, but now it's got an extension on it. Let's do it at 100. We'll slow this down. Why is it not jumping back up? YouTube, you can do it. You do traditional grip, the traditional way to play that, you do the second click on the butt of your stick on the back. Anyways, forgot to turn the mic back. Okay, let's play this faster. We'll go by 10. I didn't want to do just a bunch of shots. I don't want my neighbors to be like, yo, chill it with the rim shots. So, try and be respectful. Hence the low volume cymbals and heads. Six tuplets were a little slow. I was a little tight on them. Let's do 130. Some interesting names in the chat. Well, let's do that again. That was bad. I'm glad to hear you're able to get another Skojo pair. I actually have, stop, a Skojo pair, yeah, you can see it, right there, and it, like, wouldn't break. You can't really see it, can't really zoom in on it, but it, like, is just shredded, just like a little sliver of wood, and then it goes into the normal stick, just playing, like, cadences and whatnot from high school, and it just, like, would not break, like, no matter how many rim shots, would not break, etc. And the other pair is Tom Float sticks, signed by Tom Float, because I was at Disneyland, and, you know, you'd have your sticks and pad in your backpack, right? So you can practice in line. Yeah, that's what I did. And Tom Float was there drumming, and I was like, yo, I have your sticks, will you sign them? And he did. It was cool. Weird coincidence. of all the things to happen, was not expecting that. They don't let seniors play in high school? Interesting. That's interesting. Huh. The only thing, like, some of the schools that I taught at, like, if you were what some people call the super senior, like a 5th-year senior, like you had to take senior year again, then you weren't allowed to do extracurriculars because they're like, yo, perhaps you should just focus on graduating. Like, I knew somebody who was a 6th-year senior, and, like, they weren't allowed to, like, be in band and stuff. My brain was just like elsewhere. Okay. Well, we got a bunch more chug variations to go through. So another one that I skimmed over, whoops. No, is this one. So flam accents and split rolls. This one's a fun one to do with a friend. This is a top line. Oops, I screwed up. So it switches on the second line. So you're playing chug-a-da-tug-a-da, right, chug-a-da-tug-a-da, left, right. But your friend is playing the opposite of that. So with your powers combined, you get chug-a-da-tug-a-da, split, split, etc. Okay? So this is a great one to work on with a friend if you want to. And if you don't have a friend that you can play this with, that's okay. You can use the play along. Your new friend. Oops, I started playing the bottom line. Let's try that again. Started playing the wrong part. How many hours of watch time do you need to get monetized? I can show you. Let's actually do it this way. YouTube is about a week behind on this. But right now, so I need 4,000 hours of watch time, and I currently have 3,294, but that's as of March 28th. So if we go to here and go to the last 365 days and sort by content type and go watch time hours, you're like, wait, Jared, you have 15,000 hours. Well, that's because shorts doesn't count. So let's pull this up. So 15,283 minus all 11,912 shorts. So I have currently 3,371, so like a little more than 800 hours of watch time. We'll get there. Every day getting more. So thank you for people who are using the play-alongs. Thank you for people who are watching the gaming stuff. Live streams don't count. Shorts don't count. Basically only the long-form videos, or if you watch the VOD of a live stream after the fact. Those count. Plan to stay in touch with the line and teach the juniors. Yeah, that's great. Honestly, that's a good way to stay involved in the activity, is just help out. I started teaching at the high school that I graduated from, taught there for 5 years, and then I taught at a different school for 5 years, and then some other schools for like a year, clinics, etc. Where are we at? Rolls with tag. Flam accents and singles. Okay, this one's a fun one. We'll see how this one goes. We'll see if I'm awake enough for it. 100? Question mark? Cheese grind, nice. Yikes. The nice thing is I was accepted into the YouTube partner program, which is cool. So that made it so that I was able to like add the store, which you can see here at the bottom. And then it has gifted memberships, which Pro Football, thank you. You've got a membership. I was able to gift 10 memberships yesterday. Already using the emotes. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I hit, hey, gift 10 memberships, and it was free, which is cool. Live streams don't count on watch hours? Nope. Neither do shorts. It's a bummer. Tomorrow I'll do some Fortnite. I'll jump on, what is that, 11 o'clock Eastern time-ish. So today I'm working on edits still for Subnautica streams, which should come out on Saturday. That's the plan. So there's another version of Chug with Singles, which is just like the roll one, except you single it. So again, it just has both parts. So you play just the left hand or just the right hand, etc. So if anyone's interested in that challenge, there's a split for that. It's a good one. Flam accents and single doubles. Okay, this one's a cool one. This is a good one. Let's go down here and let's do this one. 90. Interesting. You went through 3 Mylar heads on... Yeah, you might be overemphasizing the accents too much, but Kevlar is the way to go with marching sticks. Whoa! Jared. Yeah, so thinking about your video from earlier, when you're playing slow, you just pull back. You don't like and like overemphasize every one of the notes. Just pull back, let them happen. You're using 5 Bs on them. Interesting. Were you playing with 12-inch heights that were like up to the ceiling? I'm cooking, making some ramen. That was, what, 90, I think? No, what did I cook on Sunday? Oh, palau, summer palau. That was good. Made deep dish pizza the night before. Yeah! Thank you. Just having fun. Today's just let's just do this. No, I don't know Sprizzle. It's an old one, right? Like mid 2000s, I think. Whoa, I did like a 6-lit version. My brain is just not processing. All right, we found a breaking point. Let's do another one. Oh, Hertas. This one's a good one. So I'll just play one of the 2 variations. You got a drum too? Nice. Well, play along. If it's too fast, you can go slower using the timestamps. If it's too slow, you can go faster. Let's do 120. The conga? I mean, you could play it with your hands. Ew. This one, I think I can do at 140. Stay tuned, folks. We're going to find out. You play it with your hands? Hand drums? Conga? I had for my recital, I played a piece called Animism. It's a timpani and multi-percussion piece. And it actually had you play timpani, like a hand drum, is really interesting. So there's a lot of weird stuff with that particular piece. You put like a tuning bowl and like would hit the bowl, and it was good. It was good. All right, let's try it. 140. Yeah. Hey. Stop. Let's try 150. This will probably be the breaking point. I'm not playing too good today. It happens. Slow down. All right, 150 is the breaking point. GG's. There's another variation of this. Instead of butted up but is etc. But don't have time to play them all. The new update is out for Fortnite. Interesting. I'll have to download that before tomorrow, or I'll forget. Chug with singles. So this is kind of like the Hertha one. Woo! It's loud, but you fill it in even more. Etc. If you got double bass, play it with your feet. It'll be fun. Nice. Using the GG emote. I like how the emotes look. They turned out good. And I love that I got an emote for Mini. There's also Chug with 3s and 4s. This one's a fun one. What are my PC specs? You can actually find that under my links. Actually, I can show you here too. So the /gear page, where it's got all the percussion books, if you actually scroll up, you can see the specs for my gaming PC and my streaming PC. It's a beast, or at least it was. It was the top of the line until the 4000 series came out. Because that's what you can do when you work a high-paying job. Which I haven't done in a year now. But I can do this because I worked a high-paying job previously. Save your money, folks. Spend it wisely. Or invest it. Anyway, so there's this one. But there's also, this is 3, 3, 4, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4. But there's a fast version of this, which is the 4s that are fast. So you go 3, 3. It is not loading. Go. I got a nice computer and bad internet. You can do it. Just believe in yourself. Just do it. Yes, you can. Come on. Come on, TubeU. Come on. Okay, well, it's great. Just imagine it in your head. Oh, there you go. Look at you. This is it at 61. Etc. So it's a good one. Well, welcome. Welcome to YouTube. Sleep is important. It helps you play better. I could use more of it right now, to be honest. This one. Okay, so now the next one we got paradiddle-diddles and paradiddles. So this one's a fun one. No, I'm not able to play that fast, right? Meow. Let's attempt it at 110. Oof, my left is so out of it today. It's a good one. But there's also another one that's not out yet that'll come out later. It's with paradiddle 4s. So it's the same idea, but you don't have access to it yet. But paradiddle 4, paradiddle 4. It's a good one. You'll be able to play that eventually. Ooh, I don't think this one's out. Yeah, no, it's not. Okay, so chug with paradiddle diddle, or paradiddle stops and paradiddle diddles. Paradiddles, I can't speak. So this one, a paradiddle stop, is paradiddle stop, paradiddle stop, paradiddle, paradiddle. And then the next version of this, which again you don't have access to yet, is with fast paradiddle stops. So this one, if we skippy skip, so you have paradiddle stop, paradiddle stop, then you do the sextuplet. Play that one fast, and whoo-wee! But you don't have access to this one yet, because again, it'll come out later. Go. Probably too fast for me today. Yep. This one is out. So this is with Shirley Murphy's, which is Shirley Murphy, also called a 1, 2, 3, because you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Shirley Murphys are great. I really like them. And then you have this like permutated paradiddle, which starts with pa-da-da right, pa-da-da left. So it's a fun little challenge there. And oh, cheese cha-cha and cheese inverts. This one just came out the other day. Sure, let's attempt it. That one's a good one. And again, you can slow these down. And then the one that came out this morning. Okay, this one's a cool one. Okay, so I like this one. BES stands for backsticking. So you have Swisses. Except you play backsticking when you do the Swiss kick. Etc. Or this way. Like that. That one just came out this morning. Use energy drinks. Uh-oh. I had a student, actually, who drank too many energy drinks and had to go to the hospital. So, be careful. Yeah, so their heart was beating too fast, too long, and that's no good. By the way, if you think of a chug variation that's not on this playlist, guess what? This chug framework can help you with that. So this, if it loads, you can do it. Just believe in yourself. Make your dreams come true. Yes, you can. Come on, Shia LaBeouf, help out. Maybe if we jump to a different BPM. Go. Go. We gotta go back again. Will you then work? Internet. It's great when it works. Hey, look at you. Okay, so this one, it just has the framework. So you can play whatever you want. Etc. Anything you want, it just gives you the framework. So a little bit more support than a metronome, so that way you can play along to that. But that's the playlist. It's just got a bunch of different chug variations, and there's a couple that'll be coming out later that you don't have access to quite yet. But this one just released this morning, the Chug with Swiss Kicks. It's a good one. Enjoy it. And you can find it linked at the top of the screen. Let's see, Mr. Chat. When I had a job, did I still have time for all this drumming? Are you afraid of growing up and losing chops? Interesting. That's a good question. It obviously depends on what kind of career you went into or go into. So for myself, like my bachelor's, master's, and PhDs in music education, and you might think, oh, well, then you do a lot of playing. No. During my bachelor's, yeah. So I was on a performance scholarship, so I had to perform. But for the master's and PhD, it was all research. So like very little to basically no playing involved, unless I decided to kind of do it on my own. So what I would do often is like take private lessons. And that encouraged me, like even if it was once a month, like, hey, I need to make sure that I prepare for this. But as a teacher, I would try and find time for it. So like I'd bring my sticks and pad with me. And so in between classes, I'd just kind of like play through some stuff. Or like on my prep period, if I didn't have to like write out lesson plans or anything, I would like work on stuff, just like playing through things. Another way that I kept my chops going was I'd take a towel and just like put it on like my pad. And like while watching a movie, just play whatever I wanted to. And thankfully, my wife is also a drummer. In fact, that's actually her drum kit. Mine is over there. But that makes it so that I can drum around her, and she doesn't get annoyed by it. If anything, she might join along. So you can find time for it. But to be honest, I don't know if I'd have time for it if I had children. So we had 4 dogs, which were our children, but now we only have Minnie. But it would have been difficult to do all the things I did career-wise and to advance as far as I did if I had kids and was trying to drum. Because even though my like degrees are in music education, I switched over to computer science education, and I've been teaching that since about 10 years now, I think. When I finished my residency for music education, I went and started teaching in the classroom computer science. Before that, I had taught like genre music, band, drumline, etc., percussion ensemble. But with the computer science stuff, it was just more of like, okay, I need to make time for this. So like when I quit teaching in the classroom and started working at a nonprofit, I think I was there for like 6 or 7 years, creating resources for teachers. Because I was working from home, I had the ability to like take breaks throughout the day. And so I'd take like a 10-minute break every hour. So I'd go downstairs on my treadmill and I put a tenor pad across the treadmill and I just like practice while like walking on it. So that way I wasn't just sitting at my desk all day. So basically I practice marching while just like playing through shopping sprees and other things, etc. So I forced time for it. So it's difficult, but you can find time for any hobby. So like I gamed probably at least 10 hours a week while I was getting my doctorate. And it was not an easy doctorate. Like it was a lot of work and there was a lot of time that went into that, but I still made time for other things like my wife, but at that time, my girlfriend, and yeah, drumming, gaming, etc. So you can find time for things, just a matter of prioritization. Like if you're on your phone and you are swiping through social media, just an hour a day, just 1 hour. If you do that, that equals to about 15 days straight in 1 year that you will have spent an hour a day on your phone. So if you think about like, well, if I had spent that hour a day instead of doing 15 days straight with zero sleep, just nonstop swiping, if I had spent that on drumming or other hobbies like gaming or whatever, like how would that have had an impact on my life versus like just mindlessly swiping? For me, there's a reason why I post and ghost. So I'll share resources, but then I don't swipe. I don't look at like what's happening on Instagram or TikTok, etc. So that's just my own personal preference. So you can find time for it. It's just priorities. How intentional are you with your time in your life, etc. But you can do that. Anyways, a little motivational thing or explanation of my thoughts. But these are just my thoughts. Many people have other thoughts for you. Listen to many perspectives, and that'll give you some ideas. I'm going to call it here. I got to go work on edits and whatnot. So stay tuned for more content coming out. New play along releasing every day. This is just chug stuff that we're just kind of goofing around with today, but there's literally over 1,000 free play alongs. Over 1,000. And if you don't want to go to the link at the top of the screen, don't. Just go to my YouTube and go to the front homepage and just click on drumming, and that just shows you only the drumming stuff. If you go to the video feed, you'll never find what you're looking for because there's over 1,000 videos. So go there. Anyways, I appreciate y'all for stopping by. Appreciate the engagement. And yeah, tomorrow we'll be back on. Should be doing some Limb Independence, and then we'll be doing some Fortnite. We'll take a look at the update. Looked like there's like a water attack or something from Avatar, so we'll see what that's like. But cool, I'm going to call it. Thank you again, and hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.